inside the floor. Scoops it up. Booker brings the boom.
NBA Hardwood show back on a Tuesday afternoon here. We got a small slate on DraftKings. 3 games in the association tonight. Cup games, I'm pretty sure, as well. And I got my man DC ready to break this slate down. DC, I mean, Tuesday, not much going on, and we get 3 games. I mean, I don't know. Kind of feels like the ball was dropped a little bit, but that's all right. What are you going to do?
Yeah, I could go for a few extra basketball games tonight. Like you said, 3 games. Thanksgiving week, right? So kind of a weird week in general. No basketball on Thursday either. Feels like it should have been a big slate, but we'll do the 3-game slate. And, nice of you to take a break from school pictures to join us over there, JSU. So it'll be a good show today, I think.
You like that, huh? You like that. DC was complimenting me on my polo. I got chats complimenting me too. I look professional. That's what I'm going for right now. I'm going for the pro look right now.
We should upgrade, and it should be a requirement. Polo uniforms for all RPS shows going forward.
For every show, everyone's got to wear polos. The problem with that would be, DC, you'd have to still get the polos. Because I told you how I got my polo. It's not going to be as easy for everyone else to get their polos. I had to go and raid the Run Pure Sports gift shop, which is currently in Big T's basement. I had to go raid that. So good luck getting your polo, DC.
We'll have to put that on the calendar like a year from now, so everyone has time to get their polo, and then we can rock it next year.
I've been a coach. I've been an assistant coach. I've been a head coach. That's kind of exactly how I feel right now. This is how you got to look, DC. You got to wear a polo. You got to wear nice pants. That's how you look. So I'll take assistant coach look. Love the polo. See, people like the polo here.
I like it too. It looks nice.
Yeah. DC wants a polo. Big T, if you're listening out there, he wants a polo. Okay, get him a polo. I agree. We should all start wearing. It should be like one day a week. We all just wear polos on all the shows, like on Friday or something like that, where there's a ton of shows. Everyone's got to wear a polo.
The crowd would get a good kick out of it if you, Wiley, and Big T all showed up in matching polos in one Morningwood show. That would,
yeah, that actually would be fun if we were wearing the same polo. That people would like that probably, but that's all right. Big T, he likes dressing the way you got right now. Sweatshirt, you got the cap on.
Yeah.
Professional Big T is, I don't know. I don't know if people would like.
He only breaks out the polo for formal events, weddings, Kentucky derbies, things like that. Where he's got
golf. Maybe golf. He'll break it out for golf too. Yeah. But that's really it. Yeah, not much else. Even my wedding, he was. He was the most underdressed person probably there. But I would expect nothing less from Big.
Did he have a polo on? You did, didn't he?
He had a blazer on, I think.
A blazer.
Yeah. He had a blazer on. But, definitely. He's like me. We don't dress up very often. I'm the same way. I don't dress up very often either. No. But I saw this, DC, and I was like, it's at the top of the pile. I don't want to go dig in. I was like, screw it. Just give me it. I'll take it. I get lazy sometimes. Corporate JSU. Maybe. I don't know if you guys would like that either, though. That'd probably be boring as shit. But anyways, we got 3 games in the NBA to talk about here. We'll break it all down. Obviously, smash the like button on the video, guys. If you enjoy these free shows each and every day on this channel, make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you get notified every time we go live for these shows. Didn't know we were jumping on at 3 p.m. You'll at least get that notification. Bang. And and Comes right to your desktop. So make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel. We will have a NFL show for the Thanksgiving slate too. Locked it down. Me and Big T, and I hope Wiley will be on tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern time. So if you guys are playing that Thanksgiving slate, DC, they got that massive $5 Millie Maker for that Thanksgiving slate. So I don't know if I don't MME very often, DC, but that is one where I feel obligated to MME. I feel it's Thanksgiving.
Yeah, a lot of my I had some big hits back in the day before Showdown existed, when it was like primetime slates, the two gamers where you could kind of swap out in between the games.
Dude, it's so funny you say that, because literally I remember playing in all those slates, and I remember seeing you all over the board. I remember you like jamming. You would play like multiple entries in those things. You love those primetime ones.
Yeah, they took them away for the most part. So it's kind of a throwback to that, where it's like, it reminds me of the Christmas Day NBA slate, where there's, game after game, but you can there's a lot that goes into it, right? And kind of just like constructing the team properly when there's limited games. So I find I do pretty good on the shorter slates, just getting the right amount of exposure to each game, kind of having your lineup like tell a little bit of a story. Maybe these two games blow out, this one doesn't, that type of thing. You can swap. You can look at, if you've got a good team, you can look at if you're boxed out by anybody and make some changes. So as a game theory guy, those are some of my favorite slates. So definitely looking forward to Thanksgiving.
So I've never been the 150 guy, Javier. I've always played, like in NBA, I've always played anywhere from like 1 to 4 teams. That's kind of how I've always played. So even in my bigger hits, it's always been with 1 to 4 lineups. Like the only time I've MME'd in hit was NFL Showdown. I've MME'd a couple times in hit, but every single time I've MME'd, and I'm super honest about it, like I'm definitely not the best MME player. I'm way better at like 1 to 3 lineups. That's way more my style. That's where I've had most of my big wins. Whenever I've played 150 outside of NFL Showdown, hasn't worked out well. But DC, it's Thanksgiving, so I feel obligated to do it and be miserable with the rest of you that stacked the first game and then are dead after the first night, and then tilt Showdown and jam Showdown lineups for.
Hey, you can get back on your boy Patrick Mahomes. I know you've been wanting to core him again after
Patrick Mahomes hurt my feelings so much. That one slate I got on board and he just sucked. That one slate, because other than that, Patrick Mahomes has been really solid for fantasy. But
that's how it always is. Anytime you try to jump on board with someone that you're not normally a fan of or don't play much of, they're not going to come through for you. You gotta stick with your guys for the most part.
Yeah, that's the issue, DC, is the jumping on and off. And it's like, I don't want it. But it's 3 games, so I'm going to have to make some tough decisions, because there's other quarterbacks on that slate that I normally don't play either, Lamar. But we'll see what happens on that slate, because it looks like Lamar and Patrick Mahomes are going to be the most popular quarterbacks on that slate. So, yes, I do still play the contest where you can, enter 150. I'm just saying I don't jam 150 into those but I will still play those contests, because what would be more irritating than playing like 1 to 3 teams and having the nuts and not being in the millie, or the $15 with 100K up top, DC, you'd just be so tilted. So yeah, I always try and enter those.
Me too. I can't live with myself. I can't take the chance of getting the absolute nuts and not shipping the big guy. So
yeah,
I'm the same way as you. We play somewhat similar in terms of number of lineups and that type of thing.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So that's the way it is. But yeah, that Thanksgiving slate is. It's probably my favorite slate of that, and the Christmas Day slate for NBA are my 2 favorite slates of the year. They're just awesome. Because like you said, you can move through the slate like 1 game at a time. You can adjust, you can look at stuff and go redo, go into, if you're using SaberSim, SaberSim's awesome, like game by game. And, Rubio's the best at that. But yeah, if you have SaberSim, it's definitely good for these slates, DC, where you can literally, it's just like one game at a time. It's not like where at 1 or at 7, 3 games lock, and then at 7:30, 3 more games lock. It's like one at a time. You can really focus on each game and stuff like that. So I do enjoy that. But all right, let's get to this NBA slate here. Atlanta and Washington, first game up on the docket for this slate, 7 p.m. start time. Each of these 3 games are locking at different times too. We got 7, 8, and 11, of course, with the later game, DC, which I do want to stay up for because I am excited for Luka against the Clip. I always love Luka in the Clippers games. Those are always great games to watch. So I'm a fan of that late night game. I'm going to stay up for it probably. But this first game is very interesting. You got Atlanta and Washington. Seems like a good spot for Atlanta against Washington, who plays a little defense. Still, Atlanta's still down Trae Young in this spot. And, Luke Kennard, I think, was out last game. He's still questionable, I'm pretty sure. But other than that, Atlanta's been a good team because DC, they've kind of tightened up the rotation, at least last game. They pretty much played like 8 guys legit minutes. So I always like teams where you get kind of the tightened rotation. And it does seem like Atlanta, to a certain extent right now, is tightening things up.
Yeah, they did play 9 guys, but Noel just played like 7 minutes.
It was only like a few minutes.
Yep.
Yeah.
It didn't even play in the second half. So pretty much an 8-man rotation here from Atlanta, which is, like you said, teams that we want to attack, especially when they get, one of the top 2 or 3 matchups in the league that you can get against a bad Washington team. You see Atlanta with a big team total here, big favorites, and a 236 total overall. So Atlanta certainly expected to put up points. And since they have the tight rotation, you can, have a pretty good idea where those points are going to come from. I think you almost have to have a decent amount of exposure to Atlanta. Obviously, just a question of which ones you go with. They did get Porzingis back. He's been back. He's been kind of in and out of the lineup, right? But he has played the last 2 games. He did have his best game of the season last time out. He also played the most minutes that he's played all season back on the 22nd. That would have been Saturday, I believe. So good to see his minutes up. And now he's had, a few more days off. And I don't think Atlanta plays tomorrow. So no games Thursday. So kind of a spot where maybe they extend Porzingis' minutes a little bit more. I think he's interesting at 6,800. I'm going to like my guy, Jalen Johnson, all the way up at 9,900 now. But he's scored 50-plus fantasy points in essentially 7 straight games. He did have a 49.8 2 games ago, but we'll round up and call that 50. Obviously, he had that 92 in there against Utah a week or 2 ago. He's just been super consistent, triple-double threat every night, and a guy I really believe in. Throwing a great matchup against Washington. He's my favorite spend on the slate. If I'm only spending on one, I do think you can maybe fit 2 studs in there, but if it's just one, I do think Jalen Johnson the way I would go. I've got Porzingis second on the Hawks, and then Alexander Walker would be third. But I think Okongwu and Dyson Daniels are decent plays as well, as is I think Vit Krejci is okay too. I mean, he's playing 30 minutes a night at 4,900. He's been a little bit up and down in terms of the production, but I think he's fine as well. So I'm good playing, 2, 3, maybe 4 Atlanta Hawks. They are overall my favorite team, barring, some injury news that changes some things. And then on the Washington side, a lot depends on what they end up doing with Keyshawn George, right? Who's questionable to play. Kind of the main piece for the Wizards, along with Alex Sarr, who's been a really good guy we both like. So we'll see with the Keyshawn George news, but if he does sit, all of a sudden you've got maybe a very, very good game on your hands to kind of stack it up first game of the night, maybe get off to a hot start. So we'll see on the George news, but for sure the Atlanta side, something I'll be looking at very closely tonight.
Yeah, the guy I'm really interested in, you brought it up, number 2 was Kristaps Porzingis, and you talked about the minutes going up a little bit. Also, the fact that this game, obviously Tuesday, they don't play again, I'm pretty sure, till Friday. So he played Saturday, got those
Yep.
minutes, gets a couple days in between. Now he gets to play today, and then they don't play again until Friday. That's a nice break. So I would expect them. This is another reason why I like Atlanta. I would expect them again to play a nice tight rotation, and they don't play for another 3 days. So I think you can go heavy on Atlanta guys here. Kristaps Porzingis is my favorite here, and I know our chat was talking about like Kristaps and the Wizards, and he's not a big fan of Washington after being there and stuff like that. It's just a prime matchup though too on top of it. So Wizards are a great spot for these guys. And then you brought up Jalen Johnson, definitely I think he's one of my top 2 spends, on this slate. So I get him being your number 1 guy. He's been awesome. I don't see how you kind of make a case against them. And then even their guards, like if I fall on a Dyson Daniel or a Nah as a last kind of piece, DC, I'm cool with it on this slate. Those are 2 guys that have been playing well as well. And the way I look at this team is like Jalen Johnson's their main guy. Kristaps Porzingis when he's playing, maybe they're 2, and then like Nah and Daniels kind of like the 3-4 options here. And I think 2 or 3 of these guys are in play in the lineup. I don't really love Ricochet in this spot. He's the guy they're still not giving a ton of minutes to. He's getting like low 20s minutes. I know Krejci's been playing a ton of minutes. He's 4,900 though, so you're not getting like a value in him. So I do think more of the plays are these mid-tier or the spends on Atlanta, but I do really like this spot for Atlanta a lot. If this game doesn't blow out, DC, I think a few of these Atlanta guys are getting there on this slate. And then the Washington side, it's kind of going to depend more on the Keyshawn George news, because if you watch the last game against Chicago, they were running a ton through Keyshawn George. He is, if not their best player, their second best player. I think him and Sarr are kind of in a battle, but Sarr's a big. He's kind of a guy that can play multiple positions, but you can run. He can initiate offense. He's kind of multifaceted in that way where, if you need him to score, he can score. If you need him to play make, he can play make. He can get rebounds. He can do a little bit of everything. And so I think his ceiling maybe DC is much higher, just like as an all-around player. But, if he's in, I think he's in play, even though, I do like some of the Hawks perimeter guys. I think he's a solid option. If he's out, though, then it kind of opens up the question of some of these other guys. We saw Corey Kispert have a big game. Cam Whitmore has looked really good in limited run, too, by the way, like 18 minutes. Imagine if he gets, mid-20s, you know what I mean? So I think you can make the case for a lot of these guys. The guys I don't want would be like Chris Middleton. He's just not playing enough for me. I don't want Chris Middleton is like 25 fantasy points. I'm good. I think Cam Whitmore has, 30 plus in him if he's getting more run. And so I'd be interested in him. I'd be interested in Kispert if he was starting or something like that. CJ McCollum, even at 5,900, even though I don't love his minutes, but I think his minutes were due to sometimes blowout DC, maybe foul trouble a little bit. So I think he's a guy I could play on this slate. Alexander Sarr, I think you can look at. So this is a game that I think is very stackable and might be my favorite game stack, depending on how the Washington news kind of shakes out.
I kind of hope George ends up sitting, so this game gets even better in terms of the game stack. Because we talked about the Atlanta situation day off yesterday. multiple days off and then multiple days off after this. The Wizards have the same thing. They got a couple days off after this game and also did not play yesterday. So this would make sense as a game where both teams play the starters or, maybe bench guys that are playing well, and aren't worried about minutes management. Obviously, we're not making the call ourselves. We don't know for sure, but it would make sense for that to happen. And if you look at like Atlanta's last game, I mean, they played Jalen Johnson 40 minutes. Alexander Walker played 39. Dyson Daniels played 36. And then we've got the recent Porzingis game where he was up in minutes too. So, I think the Hawks main guys make a nice stack. And if George misses, I think I'll definitely play 3,800 Whitmore in that case.
What about like Bub at 3,300 if George misses? Because they're already down Trey Johnson.
Yeah, I think he makes sense. And then Sarr is another guy who, the biggest kind of mark against him, right? It's just the minutes aren't always there. But a home game coming off multiple days rest with multiple days after, this would make sense too for a game for them to let Sarr go. And he has played or has had at least some games recently where he has played into the mid to upper 30s in minutes. So yeah, looks like a really good game. I do kind of like Alexander Sarr as well.
Yeah, nice pace up spot for Atlanta. Yeah. Guys out for Washington possibly with George. Who would be like if you had to pick like one guy who'd be like the biggest beneficiary of George missing? Who do you think it would be?
I think Whitmore would be number one. And then maybe Kispert too. I mean, 37 minutes last time out. Might go back to him as well. Two cheap guys, which is when you get a team like the Wizards, JSU, I like the cheap guys just because the minutes are so in flux that the cheap guys are the ones that can really crush for you, right? Really crush their salary. So yeah, when the minutes are in flux like that, I'll normally, and I think in this case, definitely lean towards some of the cheaper options.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think the guy who stands to benefit the most is CJ, because I think when CJ and Keyshawn are out there together, like they almost like split, and sometimes Keyshawn's getting it run through the offense more than CJ. It kind of makes CJ more of a stand on the wing and shoot, or like a secondary option off of the plays that they're running. I mean, if you watch that Chicago game, like at the end of that game, they were literally just running plays for Keyshawn George to either score or create. But like it was Sarr was the second guy and CJ was the third option almost on it. They were running the same play literally like every single drive for the last like 5 minutes. And I'm just laughing, like it's working too. Like it was getting guys like wide open shots, but it was just funny. Like every single time, like get the ball, George comes off the screen, gets the ball, Sarr pops out off the pick and roll, he pops, CJ's in the other corner, and you just got George driving to the hoop for either a mid-ranger or a layup, or he's passing it to one of those two guys for a wide open shot. And it was just like, man, that's still like that play. It hurt CJ. If CJ's the one with the ball, though, he's the initiating scorer, DC. That's where we want CJ. We don't want CJ standing on the wing, because the way he scores buckets is with the ball in his hands. He's that type of guy. So I think he's the one that would benefit the most. Just my opinion from watching the Wizards a little bit, but I do like Whitmore as well. He'd probably be 2. Bub maybe 3, just because they don't have guards after CJ really. So stack Atlanta, Orlando if you like money. I mean, I don't hate it. Let's go to that game, DC. Orlando and Philadelphia here. And, another game where we've got guys out. Joel Embiid continues to be out. No shock there. Paul George also out for Philly. Kelly Oubre still out. VJ Edgecombe out here. Dembona still out. DC, and Tyrese Maxey is available. So, this is a spot for Philly, at least, at home. a really good spot for them with a bunch of guys out. And another team that I looked at from a rotation standpoint played pretty much 8 guys in the last 8 guys, significant minutes, like 20 plus minutes, DC.
Yeah. Philly just has like a lot of wings on the roster. But yeah, these guys out, obviously George out, Oubre out, and Edge come out. I don't know if we've had Philly games where all these guys have missed, but it certainly is going to condense the rotation to some degree. Justin Edwards got the start last game out. And that was even with Paul George in there. He played, 32, 33 minutes in that game. I think he's very interesting at 4,400 with all those guys out. Trendon Watford, I think, could be in line for 25, 30 minutes here. He's cheap, 4,500. He looks good to me on this slate. Quentin Grimes, the price tag's a little much, right? 6,100. I do think his minutes are very secure, but at that price point, you kind of need 35 or 40, and I just don't know how often he gets there with obviously Maxey running the show. But yeah, and then McCain, is he mostly operating as Maxey's backup? I think so.
Yeah, he got an extended run last game, though, 26 minutes.
Yeah. It was early last year, but he had a stretch there where he was just absolutely going off. I think it was with Maxey out of the lineup. So I'm not, really expecting that. But at 3,800 coming off a 26-minute game, it could be a shot to take a shot on McCain, who I think is getting a little bit healthier, was squeezed for minutes in the rotation for most of this year so far. But yeah, he would make some sense too. So, I don't know if you want to play all those guys together, but I do think you want to mix and match Philly. They certainly make some sense, even in a relatively tough matchup against Orlando. And obviously you can go to Tyrese Maxey, going to get the big minutes from him as always, and big production. So yeah, Maxey certainly on the short list. I do like Jalen Johnson a little bit better, but no issue with Maxey. And then Andre Drummond coming off a 50-piece a couple days ago, his best game of the year. We've seen plenty of good games from him, though, and still 6,500. I think they'll need him. He's interesting. And then the Orlando side, obviously still missing Paulo, possibly missing Goga too, right? Late addition to the injury report.
Just to tilt everyone, he's downgraded to questionable.
Yeah. So if he's out, I would give a couple minutes projection bump to Wendell Carter, certainly. And then Orlando Robinson, right, I think would become an interesting play too. Started last game, just 13 minutes. But, he would be, I think, in play at 3K if Goga does miss. So another really good game here. I think for a 3-game slate, there's a lot of different ways you can play this slate.
Yeah, two teams that don't, a little slower in pace, bottom 10, I think, in pace for both these teams. But it does feel like it's a pretty good spot, especially for Philly, in my opinion. And I think Tyrese Maxey's probably my favorite spend. Jalen Johnson would be number 2 on this slate. But just all these guys out, and you talked about it, like Justin Edwards played 30-plus minutes last game, and that was with PG, playing. He played 20 minutes in that game. McCain played 26. You start looking at it, okay, so now you take PG out, and we said in that game they pretty much played like 8 guys. I think they do that again. I don't see how, McCain doesn't again play like in the 20s, and they just showed he can because he played 26 last game. So I think he, like Justin Edwards, they can only minutes bump him so much. I think McCain is going to get that consistent run to like that 25 to 30 minutes, makes him an interesting value play. And I agree with you, like Trendon Watford's been playing pretty well. They'll play Dominic Barlow, I bet, like 20, 25 minutes here. Quentin Grimes is going to get a ton of run. There's a lot of really good plays. Maxey, Drummond are definitely the top 2, but I think like Watford and McCain, are definitely good values. Justin Edwards, okay. I think I'd rather Watford than Justin Edwards, but they're close. DC, do you have a lean on one of them? They're pretty close in projection too right now, at least from what I'm looking at.
I think it's super close. I guess maybe lean slightly in the starter and Edwards, but honestly, I wouldn't have a problem playing both of those guys. They're cheap enough. And I mean, we think the minutes are pretty secure with these guys, like you mentioned, right? I mean, I think an 8-man rotation probably for Philly. So yeah, really good spot. I'm with you there.
Yeah, I mean, last game DC against what was it, the Heat? So they played McCain 26 off the bench, Barlow 20, and Trendon Watford 26. Then just a couple guys like a minute, but like that was really it. So these starters outside of Paul George, who's not in for this game, all played heavy minutes, 36, 35, 38, 33, and now we're taking 20 off. So maybe they give the 20, they spread it out, or they give a few minutes to like Jabari Walker, which I think is very possible. He gets a few minutes here, DC. But either way, I think we still see pretty much 8 guys, and the starters plus 1 or 2 off the bench are playing heavy minutes. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what you want. So, Philly's definitely a good spot for me, at least. I want to target it. And we another guy like Quentin Grimes, we saw him have big games. It does feel like Maxey out there kind of hurts.
Yeah.
Because when he was having those big games, it was with like all those guys off the floor, and he was the true number one, DC. That's not the way it is, but he could still get you what you need at 6,100. I just don't know if he's going to get you that like monster upside game that we've seen, last year.
It feels like a very safe play. I just don't know if the 40 plus, how often he gets there is a problem.
I agree with you. Safe play, 100%. The Orlando side, I think it's good, but I think it's a little harder to pick out these guys. I think the Philly side's better. I like Jalen Suggs. I don't like that he's probably going to have to deal with Tyrese Maxey all game. I worry about that a little bit. But, Wendell Carter at 5,600 is interesting. I think he's going to play 30-plus minutes here. I don't really love like that Anthony Black, De Silva range. Goga downgrade to questionable kind of hurts. Maybe a 3K Jonathan Isaac in MME if he's out, you could look to, I guess. But that's really it. I don't have like a ton. Like, are you playing any Franz or Desmond Bane on this slate?
I don't think so. I just think there's better spot. I mean, I just like the Atlanta guys, kind of in that spend up range. The Porzingis, Alexander Walker, Dyson, Jalen Johnson, obviously more expensive, but I don't see getting to as much Orlando. Goga News obviously could change that a little bit. To me,
that has to make Wendell a better play. Probably.
Yeah, I think Wendell's the guy. Yeah, I think he would, potentially get like 35 minutes,
right?
If things go well, if Goga misses. So we'll see on that. Isaac, I think you could use as a long shot play. I mean, he's at least getting some minutes in every game, right?
And he's stoned 3K, so you don't need a ton.
And he has, I mean, we've seen it in the past. He'll have some games where he just goes off on a per minute basis. So I think he's a little interesting for MME. Wouldn't, going to go crazy with it, but he could put up 25 fantasy points at 3K and low ownership. So yeah, he's interesting. But yeah, the Philly side, and looking at the rotation from last game, I know we kind of poo-pooed Grimes a little bit, but he played like 20 minutes in the first half. Then he committed 2 quick fouls in the second half, was removed after like 3 or 4 minutes, and didn't play the rest of the third quarter, and then was taken out at the very end. But he still played 35 minutes despite missing a lot of time due to foul trouble. So, and then you take Paul George out of the equation. I think you could be looking at Grimes based on last game's substitution pattern. 40 minutes is what I think he would have played last game if he didn't get in foul trouble. I mean, Drummond played 38 and missed the last couple minutes too because the game was a little out of hand. So maybe a little more interest in Grimes than I initially thought. And it does look like McCain benefited from the Grimes injury stuff. So maybe a bigger bump to Grimes than I was saying, and a little bit less interest in McCain, assuming Grimes stays out of foul trouble in this one.
Yeah, and people are talking about the cup here. So like Atlanta would be eliminated if they lose tonight and Orlando wins and Detroit wins the next game. So there's definitely a few of these. Like Philadelphia would be eliminated with a loss and an Atlanta win. Or an Atlanta win, I guess, a loss or an Atlanta win. So these are cup games, so there are a few things going into it, and that does lead to maybe more, the Titan rotation. But some of these teams are doing it even on non-cup games, so that's also what we're talking about with the tight rotation. So we got to keep that in mind. Yeah, Jet Howard, he did nuke last game. I'm actually a fan. I like Jet Howard's game, but he was just like crazy on fire. I don't know if the minutes kind of translate.
The Magic were getting blown out by the Celtics.
Yeah,
and they put in the backups, kind of in the midway through the third quarter, and those guys actually brought them back into the game. And you see this once in a while where the coaches are like, "All right, well, the starters are playing like shit. We put in the backups. They're bringing us back. Let's just roll with it. Let's roll with the guys that are playing well." And so we saw Noah Penda played the last 20 minutes of the game. I mean, just kind of a true outlier situation, I think, for the Magic last time. I wouldn't take too much away from last game.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, unless you see a blowout, I guess, and you want to take a chance on one of these guys. But yeah, no, that was crazy. He had 30 points. He shot 50% from the field or whatever it was. He was definitely on fire. So, all right, that's Orlando, Philly. Andrew Jennings. We will quickly talk about the King of the Court, that DraftKings Sportsbook. They're doing it every Tuesday. We'll talk about that after we hit this game. We'll give our favorite King of the Court bet. Again, I wish it was more than 3 games. That kind of stinks. But DC, let's talk about the final game before we go through our favorite King of the Court bet for tonight. Clippers and the Lakers here. Battle of LA. Luka always brings it, I feel like, against these Clippers. But you got the Clippers. Kawhi back last game. And I don't think he played crazy minutes, though. What did he play? 26 minutes in a loss. Had 32 fantasy points, though. Kind of a Kawhi night. I didn't look, though. Are they playing tomorrow, DC? Do they have a game tomorrow, or are they off?
I'll look it up quick. I'm not sure.
I just pulled it up. So they're off.
They're play Friday.
Okay. So they're another team.
I don't think any of these teams play tomorrow.
Yeah, so both these teams don't play tomorrow. Yeah. All right. I was less worried about it with the Lakers, but I kind of wanted to look for Kawhi Leonard specifically just to see. But it does still feel like I think they're going to be cautious with him, first couple games back. But what are you doing with the Lakers here? Are you spending up for Luka? He is $12K. They do have LeBron James in there now playing, kind of off the rip, 30 and 34 minutes. For LeBron James. So they're no kids gloves off. They're playing them decent minutes right away.
Yeah, in my head, it's kind of hard to justify the $12K for Luka with LeBron and Reeves both in there, right? I mean, it gets a little crowded, but at least so far, it hasn't slowed down Luka. Exactly 64.8 in each of the last 2 for Luka. He's playing big minutes every night. And I know LeBron's back, but I do think clearly the torch has been passed to Luka. This is kind of his team now. Obviously, LeBron been playing a lot of years. So, yeah, Luka, I think he's going to be the main guy, but still a little that's kind of why I like the Jalen Johnson play for, $2,100 less. Kind of hard to fit both. So that's the way I'm leaning. I don't have a problem with Luka, but, yeah, with Reeves and LeBron in there, it does seem like it should, at least in theory, limit Luka's ceiling just a little bit. So I'm probably not getting there on the 3 teams that I'm playing, but I definitely prefer Luka over any of the other Lakers, right? I'm not paying the 9K for LeBron, I don't think, even though the minutes have been there. And then Reeves as well. I mean, he's still playing really well, but 8,100 feels like a tough ask for me. So kind of Luka or bust on the Lakers. And then the Clippers side is a little bit tough too. When you get Kawhi back in there, we've seen Harden obviously have a number of big games without Kawhi, but that's been reflected in the price up to 9,800 and put up just 31 fantasy points, his worst game in a long time with Kawhi back in there. So I'd say overall, JSU, this is pretty clearly my least favorite game of the night. I think most of my plays will come from the first two games that we have.
Yeah, I think I'm with you from that standpoint. Also, too, these two teams that, they're so just like top heavy with their guys, and the bottom tier, whether it's like the Clippers and some of the guys feel a little inflated because they were playing without Kawhi for a while and stuff like that, and now he's back and he's 8,400. So I don't even feel like they give us a chance to play Kawhi Leonard, but it also kind of hurts us from playing the Kobe Sanders, who's 4,100, and the Chris Dunn's, who's 4K, and the Bogdan's, who's 4,500. It kind of John Collins, who's done nothing, and is 5,200. Like, it just hurts all these guys here. I will say, like Zubac, it's 7,900 though. And he's coming off a nut game. It's really tough to get to these guys. I
don't see much in this game at all. It's hard to get. I mean, the Lakers role players, you can't play those guys with Reeves, Luka, and LeBron all in.
I mean, the only guy I could think about is if you want to play Jackson Hayes, like a cheap guy like that, take a shot on him. But like Rui 5,200, like, man, it's just even Austin Reeves 8,100.
Yeah.
Like I can't do Austin Reeves at 8,100. So I think for me in this game, like, if you want to look to Harden on the Clippers side, I think you can, but I'd rather Maxey. I'd rather Jalen Johnson. And the same can be said for like LeBron and Austin Reeves. If crazy value opens up the slate though, DC, I could play Luka. Like if we get like a crazy 3K value, or maybe like just the George news, maybe it opens up a few of those Wizards that we kind of like. Okay, I could do that. I could get to a Luka Doncic here at that ownership, but I'm struggling right now. I do feel like though, with this being like a primetime game late on a Tuesday, this is like such a LeBron spot here. And I wouldn't be shocked if LeBron James had a big game. That's all I'll say. I know he's 9K. I'm probably not going to play him, but it wouldn't shock me at all if Spotlight LeBron comes out tonight. So
that makes some sense to me. I don't think I'll get there, but I do agree. I definitely hear what you're saying. It wouldn't shock me either.
Yeah, exactly. And I just want to see in the West. I want to see if any of these teams are. So the Clippers clinch group with a win, okay, and a Memphis loss. Anyone else? Lakers clinch group with a win. Okay, so both these teams could clinch with a win tonight.
They're both 2-0, right? Coming in, so
yeah. So the winner pretty much clinches the group. Honestly, I don't know how much these guys actually care about the cup. These two, especially teams like this, DC, but who knows? Maybe that pushes. Do you think that pushes LeBron to like play 38 minutes tonight, or do you think he's still like in that like mid to low 30s?
I guess it could. I mean, it would be a little weird to push LeBron because of the NBA Cup, his third game back, but I mean,
they already played him 30 and 34 minutes.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is, like, I don't know how much this game like actually means to them, but like if LeBron were to play like 37, 38 minutes, that would help. You know what I mean?
I think in the first half probably doesn't affect rotations much for these teams. But if it's close in the, third quarter, fourth quarter, I do think we'll probably see a couple extra minutes from the studs on each team. But that's probably true for the other teams too, right? So
you would think. Well, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know really how much these teams really care. Zubac's the only play. Move on from this game. Yeah, it's in 7,900. It's tough to swallow from Zubac, man. It's just it's tough. But yeah, I think the studs. If you want to play a stud in this game, I think you can go to it. DC, would it be Luka for you if you played a stud?
I think Luka's the best play in this game. That said, probably not going to get to him on my 3 teams.
Yeah, I don't think Braun was really hurt. He was just chilling, letting these boys get some run in the beginning. I don't think LeBron was hurt either. I don't know. I don't know if he was chilling, but I don't think he was hurt.
They're playing well though. They got a good record so far, the Lakers. So yeah,
he might have been, getting his redose. Getting his couple weeks, getting revitalized. DC, as I call it. That's what Jeff Teague. He knows what I'm talking about. He said it. I didn't say it. So
not your goat, right, JSU? Not your goat.
Not my goat. That's all I'm gonna say. Not my goat. Nope. AI, baby. AI. All right. Let's do King of the Court here. DC, 3 games on this slate. It's tough to get like really weird, I think, on a slate like this with Luka, LeBron, James Harden, Tyrese Maxey, Jalen Johnson. I have a feeling I know who you're going to say, but who would be your King of the Cup for tonight?
Yeah. If you look at the Saber projections I've got here, there's the top 4, right? And a kind of a drop off after Harden, which I agree with for the most part, but you're right. You know who I'm picking. I got to roll with my guy, Jalen Johnson, second highest projected today, which I think is right. I think it's close between him and Maxey, but when it's close, got to roll with the guy you've been rolling with a lot of the season. So I will go with Jalen Johnson as my King of the Court pick.
Yeah, remember King of the Court, leading PRA on the slate, points, rebounds, and assists on DraftKings Sportsbook. So if you have DK Sportsbook, you can bet any of those players' props. It's a minimum bet of $5. So you have to bet at least $5 to qualify for the King of the Court. And it's $1 million in prize pools payout. So if your player that you bet, even if you lose the bet, if your player that you bet is the leading PRA at the end of the night, points, rebounds, and assists, you'll win a share of $1 million with everyone else who bet said player. So like DC said, there's like 5 leading guys right now, like Luka, Tyrese Maxey, James Harden, Austin Reeves, Jalen Johnson. Those are like the leading guys. I would assume LeBron would be in that category too, DC. I guess maybe he'd be up there just off a name in general. But maybe not.
I would assume he'll be like a little bit over-owned, so to speak, in this, just because
of his name, right?
LeBron's name. So
yeah.
But
so I would just say if I'm probably gonna pick Tyrese Maxey, but if George is out, I think a sneaky dark horse would be like a CJ McCollum or an Alexander Sarr. Like if you want someone that like no one's gonna bet, I think like a CJ McCollum. If you're just putting $5 on it and you want to do something kind of weird, that'd be the way I would go.
McCollum did have a 43-minute, 42 real point game against Detroit a couple weeks ago.
You can get buckets.
You want the bucket getters in King of the Court. I know the rebounds and assists count too, but it's, if you're really going to push it up, you got to put up a big number in the points.
That's why I like Tyrese Maxey though, because this dude can put 50 on the board if he really wants to. Yep. He's just and he doesn't it feels like he never gets tired either. He's just like, he's so good. And I'm a big Tyrese Maxey guy. So I think right now that's who I'm leaning. You like Jalen Johnson for the King of the Court on DraftKings Sportsbook. So make sure you guys check that out. And like I said at the beginning of the video, guys, make sure you smash the like button on the video. Check us out, runpuresports.com. Run Pure Premium if you guys want all sports, one price, plus Saber Sim. That's the best package. But we do also offer single sport packages. So we just have a package for NBA if you're just looking for NBA. College sports, we've got those packages as well. So check that out. And, we will be doing a Thanksgiving edition of the Wood Show tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern time. Me, Big T, like I said, hopefully Wiley too. We'll be breaking down that big Thanksgiving 3-game NFL slate with a big Millie Maker on DraftKings, $5 Millie Maker over there. So that will be 3 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. All right, DC, let's do anti-play and favorite, play of the slate here. Who is the anti-play? So the guy that is, one of the higher owned plays that you are going to be fading on this slate. I just organized Saber. You want to organize Saber by ownership, but who you got here that's going to be popular that you are fading? Because I see a few guys already.
Oh, this one's easy. I'll go with old man Chris Middleton. No, thank you.
That is that, dude. That's like I saw him at 30%, and I almost fell out my chair. Yeah. I said, "No friggin' way."
He's projected at 30% on. That's roughly 29% too high for me. So no Chris Middleton on my squad.
I'd say 30% too high for me. Let's see, who do I want? Because DC stole the best one. That was easy. I'm gonna go with. I like him. Who do I want to go with here? So I think I'll take Nah, even though I do think it's a good spot. 30% seems a little much for Nickeil Alexander-Walker, even though I do like the Hawks. So that'll be our anti-plays. Chris Middleton, Nah as the anti-plays. All right, DC, favorite overall play, and then you can give like a favorite lower owned play.
Favorite overall is still going to be Jalen Johnson. He's going to be in all my squads tonight. And then a little bit lower owned, but I like Cam Whitmore for cheap, 3,800. Probably my favorite sub 4K option on the slate. Like him even more if George is out, obviously, but I'm still good with him even if George is in.
I like it. I like that. I like that call here on this slate. Trying to look, what is his ownership right now?
Got him around 25. Looks like.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, it's not bad. Yeah, I would expect that to go up if Keyshawn George gets a.
Yeah, for sure.
Sure. So I like CJ McCollum a lot tonight. I think especially if Keyshawn's out. If Keyshawn's out, that's definitely my play of the day. It's kind of hard right now because we don't know. But I'll give Kristaps Porzingis right now just because we don't know about the Keyshawn news. I'll give Kristaps as my favorite play. And then I think for like an actual low-owned play, like LeBron James is coming in at 13% owned. I do think he's a very interesting low-owned play on this slate. So I'll give him as the low-owned play here on this slate. That's going to do it for this show. Like I said, we'll be back tomorrow, 3 p.m. show for the Thanksgiving slate. And then me and DC will still be doing the up to lock for NBA 6 to 7 tomorrow for the members only. So make sure you guys sign up for that. And then obviously Thanksgiving, hopefully if you guys don't watch tomorrow, enjoy your Thanksgiving holiday. And we'll see you guys next week. For DC, I am JSU. Good luck in your DraftKings DFS and betting. Don't forget King of the Court on DraftKings Sportsbook. Get in there. We'll see you guys tomorrow. We're out of here. Peace.